Well, you might notice that I'm wearing a Miami Heat hat, and it's simply in memorial of the Miami Heat, as Jimmy Butler will no longer be available to the Miami Heat as they are going to get ready to take on the Chicago Bulls. But the question is there any way Miami can still win this game? Because the entire world is looking at the Chicago Bulls right now after a 42-point effort by Mr. Kobe White, and they beat the G League Atlanta Hawks. Brian Power, do you think the Chicago Bulls and the Miami Heat, any way Miami can get this done?
First off, Joe, a different hat perhaps than yesterday's show. Perhaps a different result will be in the cards Friday. You know, it's interesting that we're asking this. Obviously, Butler's absence means a lot. But, you know, I was on the show with you and Steve Merrill twice earlier this week. And we were saying, well, whoever wins Atlanta, Chicago, who really cares? Because they're just going to lose the next game anyway. Now we're in a situation, events have transpired, and now there's going to be a lot of people flocking to the window to take Chicago, even though they're on the road. Butler, look, it's a big deal, but, we should remember Chicago was a below average team all year. So you have to be careful. And, Joe, you've done enough of these shows to remember on a daily basis in the NBA, when a team doesn't have its star, that first game, what everyone else just seems to play out of their mind, and you get this unexpected result. People who play against the market, they're dancing in the streets. People who were following the injury news are left scratching their head. So I, right off the rip here, would advise some caution about necessarily running to the window and blindly betting Chicago in this final play-in matchup of the Eastern Conference playoffs.
I agree with you 100% here. Miami has had to win a lot of games without Jimmy Butler this season and over the years. I don't think they're dead in the water. I do think all the value is going to be on the Miami Heat. But if it's one team that we know can give the Miami Heat fits, it's the Chicago Bulls over the years. They have certainly been a giant pain in the ass over the years there. Again, kudos to Kobe White. Monster effort by the Bulls there last night. And now Miami back against the wall. This is usually where you want to bet on them. But it's amazing the similarities between that next play-in game and the other one that we learned about with Sacramento now taking on New Orleans, who also lost their star in Zion Williamson. He is no longer going to be there. These two teams and these two series are really similar here, BP. So do you think, same question, New Orleans can get it done here against Sacramento?
I do like New Orleans, their chances here, even without Zion. Here's the deal. Let's go back to the regular season. What did the Pelicans do against the Kings? They went a perfect 5-0 straight up and against the number. That includes a win in your favorite, the in-season tournament. So, it didn't matter if it was a normal regular season game or that. The Pelicans were getting it done. And I went through, looked at the box scores. Zion did play in 4 of those games, okay? But the one he didn't play in, the Pelicans led by as many as 50 points in Sacramento and won by 33. So it's not like they haven't dominated the Kings before without their star. CJ McCollum, if you go to the Lakers game, had an off night. Ingram had an off night. Collectively, their shooting was horrible. But previously, McCollum, you're talking about a guy, Joe, that had gone over 25 in the final 7 regular season games, shot 52% from 3. The Pelicans obviously need he and Ingram to step up, but I've been saying it on this show all year long. The Kings, it turns out I was wrong, like a lot of people. I just assumed the Warriors' pedigree was going to carry the day in that play-in game on Tuesday. It obviously did not. The Warriors just couldn't make a shot. That's what it boils down to. So the Kings were kind of disrespected by that line being a home underdog here. I wonder if the same is true as we're comparing these play-in games to each other. Is that the case here with the Pelicans? Because if Zion was playing, I'd have them favored by at least 3, right? New Orleans, I've said it before, they have the 6th best point differential in the league. Their biggest problem is they can't hold double-digit leads, which we saw again Tuesday against the Lakers.
Interesting. We have never seen a number 7 seed miss the playoffs since we started this whole play-in tournament situation a couple of years back. So the Pelicans sitting at that number 7 seed could, in fact, make history as being that one team that wasn't able to do it. No Zion for the Pelicans, no Jimmy Butler for Miami. Going to make it real interesting here, BP, that's for sure. If you had to guess, go ahead and tell me who's advancing and who's got the better shot of actually winning that series, that first series up. We know Boston's waiting, right? And OKC's waiting for these winners here. Which one of those teams do you think who can advance has a shot at actually taking down the number one?
Oh, it's whoever wins in the West, for sure. I mean, Boston is a historically great team. We're talking about a massive gulf between them and the rest of the field in the Eastern Conference. I think people look at Oklahoma City, rightfully so, no disrespect to them, but it's a young team who has not been in this position before. I mean, is anyone really picking the Thunder to come out of the West? I mean, certainly not with the enthusiasm and zeal that you're seeing with the Celtics in the Eastern Conference, who are rightfully a big deserved favorite in the East. So I know, Miami obviously beat Boston, as you recall, Joe, last year in the playoffs. But, if Jimmy Butler's hobbled, the Celtics are going to be really motivated from that loss. So certainly whoever is the 8th seed in the West has more of a fighting shot in the playoffs proper than whoever is the 8th seed in the East, I would say.
Agree with you 100%. Brian Power, what do you got rolling over at wagertalk.com coming up here in the NBA playoffs? What do you got for us, man?
So, obviously today, Thursday, is an off day, but we've got 4 games circled for the weekend already. I'll be, as the day goes on, start loading those for clients. I'll have at least 4 selections, including tomorrow's playing games. I know what I'm going to be doing in these 2 games tomorrow, what my favorite pick is. So, WT.buzz/PP is the place to go.
I got to tell you, BP, you didn't suck nearly as bad as I thought you were going to on these 2 games. So, but hey, listen, if it's game previews and best bets that you want here at wagertalk.com, you don't have to go very far. Go ahead, click on that video on your screen right now. We've got a whole lot of big game previews and more best bets coming your way for the NBA playoffs. Go ahead, watch that, and we'll talk to you again soon. Boom.